Hello everyone, welcome to Mindspeak. Today our guest is Dr. Sanjay Mukherjee. He is an accomplished 1996 batch IAS officer, currently serves as the Metropolitan Commissioner of MMRDA, bringing extensive experience in public administration and urban development. Let me deep dive into his journey. I am Saimik Sen and you're watching Herald Global. First of all, thank you so much for taking out this time for us. Welcome to Herald Global.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And the pleasure is all ours.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me begin by asking you, what inspired you to pursue a career in public service?
Well, it is now 30 years that I am in public service. So I think I'll reply for whatever I remember of those days, 30 years back. But
Sure.
essentially, I was training to be a medical doctor.
Okay,
And that is a career which is actually dedicated totally to public service.
of course.
So therefore, my father was also a doctor. So our family has been inclined towards public service since earlier. So, though not in politics, but in public service, definitely.
Okay,
And that is how it was. And the Indian Administrative Service in the 90s, and I think even today, was one of the, jobs that one should, it was a service, it was not a job. And it was something that one should, try his hand on. And if one is successful, then one should take it. So that is how it was in those days. I think that is how it is today. And well, I tried my luck and God was kind and I got selected and that's how it is.
okay. So please tell us about some of the key responsibilities as the Commissioner of MMRDA.
So see, MMRDA is essentially what they called as a Regional Development Authority.
Sure.
And the full form is Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Development Authority. But if we break MMRDA into the various verticals that it has, then essentially MMRDA fundamentally looks after BKC, the region that we know as BKC. I'll tell you the importance of BKC. BKC contributes 3% of the national GDP.
Okay.
An area of around 200 hectares of land is contributing 3% of the national GDP. This is the importance of BKC. And MMRDA is responsible for BKC and everything that goes around in BKC. That's one. Second is MMRDA also, within the city of Mumbai, operates certain, there are certain schemes that we run. So we have a Pavai Yoshiwara scheme. Then we have one scheme that is in Vadala, where initially we thought we'll have a truck terminus and now we want to change that. So that's the Vadala scheme. So we have a planning authority of the Back Bay Reclamation Scheme, that is the Kapparet Kolaba area. And even today, now the planning authority is the BMC, but MMRDA is preparing the development plan of that area.
Okay.
So that is our role. That is one of our roles. Second is MMRDA is a infrastructure development agency. So MMRDA builds infrastructure. Initially, MMRDA built basically roads and bridges. So among the very key roads and bridges that we build in the past are the Eastern Freeway, the Santa Cruz Chembur Link Road, etc. And now we have the honor of being, the agency which has built the country's longest bridge, the country's only and longest sea bridge, Asia's largest sea, the 12th largest sea bridge in the world, and the most modern and most advanced sea bridge. And we completed it. In fact, if you discount the COVID period, then we have done it before time. So that is one civil infrastructure. That is what we are doing. So now we are doing some very major projects. Like we are doing the so-called Orange Gate Tunnel, which connects Orange Gate near BPT to the Marine Drive. And we are doing the Thane-Borivali Tunnel, which will connect Thane and Borivali. So there are several such projects that we are doing. So that is one. That's the second thing. That is infrastructure vertical. Third thing that we do is that we develop the metro rail network for Mumbai. Yes. And out of the 14 metro lines that are declared in Mumbai, 13 metro lines are being executed by us. And one metro line, there is an underground line, which is JICA funded. So that metro line is, that is being executed by another agency, MMRCL, of which we are a principal shareholder. Okay. So the third job that we do is and that is a very challenging job, that is of building the MMR's, metro network. The fourth thing that we do is that we are a planning authority. So we are the largest planning authority in the country. Our planning jurisdiction extends over 6,800 square kilometers. Sure. And we are the SPA from Palghar to Thane way down up to Raigad, So that is another thing that we do. So we make the development plan, and we are in the process of now making the development plan of this extended area. And we sanction the building plans. We decide the models of development, and then we develop the infrastructure in these areas by various means. That is another thing that we do. The next is that within the planning part only, there is something called as a transport sector. So
Okay.
MMRDA today, the key thing that MMRDA is trying to do is to connect. And our job is that we say ki, Mumbai in minutes. So people should be able to connect from one place in Mumbai to another place in Mumbai, and the time should be counted in minutes, not in hours.
Sure.
So for that, we have a transport division which makes a comprehensive mobility plan for this entire area, and that is a multimodal plan. So that is another thing that MMRDA does. Then we have now recently put up a proposal where the MTHL will land. We want to develop a new town there on the lines of New Bombay, like Sitco. So that is called Mumbai
Okay.
3.0. So that is so we are a new town. We will very soon be declared as a new town development authority. That proposal is awaiting the approval of the government. Then we develop growth centers on various parts of in our jurisdiction. The Mumbai Metropolitan Region contributes 4.4% of the GDP of the entire country. And out of that, BKC alone contributes around 3% of the GDP. So this tells you about the importance of Mumbai in the scheme of things of the country. And the last thing which MMRDA does is now MMRDA is also, to fund all these projects, we have a very strong finance team. So we raise debt, we manage the debt. We have always repaid our, installments, and we manage our finances very prudently. And we also give short loans to other smaller municipal corporations and municipal bodies to fund them. And we also strengthen and empower them, because the aim is to develop the municipal corporations. As time goes on, then these development authorities have to move out, and the publicly elected, bodies, the urban local bodies, they have to come in. So this is the basic gamut of activities that MMRDA does, and all that you hear about us is essentially falling in one of these, parameters.
Okay. So you mentioned about planning. So what are
Yeah.
the primary challenges that MMRDA face in terms of urban planning and development?
So the question that always comes when you plan is, what comes first? The planning comes first, or the planning development comes first and planning comes second? So in India, the main challenge is that, because of the huge pressure of population. Now we are the most populous country in the planet. So we own a little bit. The country's landmass is limited, and the pressure of population is huge. And there also, people are attracted towards Mumbai because of its various opportunities of employment and growth.
Oh.
So you have, unauthorized type of construction, slums, etc. are coming. So I forgot to mention there is a slum vertical also that MMRDA is doing.
Okay.
I'll come to that later. But essentially, the idea is that you should be the ideal condition is that you should be able to, plan first, and the people come in later. Like the city of New Bombay, it's a planned city, right? Or parts of Nagpur, which were developed by the Nagpur Improvement Trust, that they were planned first and developed first, and the population moved in later. So that is the ideal thing, but it doesn't happen. So some population already comes in, and then you plan within that. So most of the projects that we do are therefore brownfield projects. So biggest challenge is then to plan properly, provide all the civic amenities amongst the limited area that is available, and then execution of these of these plans. For instance, in Mumbai, when you are say building a road, then you are not getting a vacant land to execute that road. The traffic is still going on. Or we are building the metro network. Nowhere in the world is the metro network built in this kind of population pressure. So, so that is the biggest challenge of planning, and I think the biggest challenge of implementation is this.
Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Okay, so as Mumbaikar, we know the kind of traffic congestions that we have been facing. So how MMRD plans to decongest Mumbai from this traffic situation?
Yeah, I think the elephant in the room, I would say there are two.
Okay.
One is traffic, that is traffic that we see in the streets. And second, I would say, is the issue of, people living in slums and such kind of totally unplanned areas. So as far
Okay.
as the traffic is concerned, as I said, we make a comprehensive mobility plan. Now, we have to realize that India is a growing economy. It is the fastest growing economy in the world. And India is a very, very aspirational economy.
Sure.
And when you are an aspirational economy, then a vehicle is a part of a person's aspiration. So therefore, roads are required. But most people should travel by public transport. So therefore, public transport is required even more than private transport. So this is the basic construct. Now, when we talk about that, so therefore we are the metro line network, the 14 metro lines which we are building. I
Yes.
would say they are to my knowledge, this is the largest single metro project undertaken at any given single point of time by any single agency, anywhere in the world. The largest, to my knowledge, is the Riyadh Metro, which was 160 kilometers.
Hmm.
They started the work of that entire thing at one given point of time. Now we have got three operating lines. So we have got line 2A, line 7, and line 1. These three lines are operating. So roughly 45 kilometers of lines are operating. And we have another 337 kilometers of metro line, which are under various stages, of either construction or DPR preparation, tendering, etc. So everything has moved on. So the biggest thing to correct the traffic in this area is this metro network, public transport. Then after just building the metro network is not going to close the thing. So after I land at the metro station, I need to go home. Right. So that last mile connectivity is a very key thing. So we are also working towards last mile connectivity. Now in Mumbai and in Thane, New Bombay, etc., there's a constraint of land. So land is the constraint. For instance, you do not get space for parking, when you do not get space for public, say, auto rickshaws or taxis, and all to go to the last mile. But still, we are tying up with the PFT, for instance, and we keep talking to the transport commissioner and the transport department, so as the taxis and auto rickshaws, etc. And
Sure.
with given constraints, we make provision for auto stands, taxi stands, etc. in our metro stations. So that is the second part. Third is that for public transport, that is the buses. Buses need routes, and now the existing routes of the city are pretty much clogged. So MMRD is now thinking of, essentially we have very few east-west connectors. See, we have got two north-west connectors, the Western Highway and the Eastern Highway.
Yes.
And then we basically have SCLR and JVLR, which are connecting it. But now, MMRDA has thought that we will prepare ring roads under various districts of Mumbai.
Okay.
So like the city of Mumbai has two districts. One is Mumbai city, and the other one is the suburban Mumbai city. And Mumbai city and suburban Mumbai district together make up the BMC. That is the BMC jurisdiction. So, like for instance, like you have the Eastern Express Highway. Now, this Eastern Express Highway at Orange Gate, we are building the Orange Gate tunnel. So you'll get a ramp. You enter into the Orange Gate tunnel, and from that you come out on the Marine Drive.
Okay.
So east to west, you don't need to travel all the way through Dongri and all those areas, and then come to Marine Drive. That becomes seamless. From Kolaba so there is a need to connect Nariman Point down to Kaf Parade, because today the only entry to Kaf Parade is you go in front of Taj President and then you go straight down, and it's only one road. So that is another connectivity. So that will be like a ring road there. Now further down, now the BMC has built the Mumbai Coastal Road, and I am very happy that I was a part. In fact, I was in the BMC when the work started. We designed the whole bridge, and we got all the clearances, and then we started that particular work. And now the work is, it is coming to fruition. Now, the Mumbai Coastal Road will connect from Marine Drive, it will connect up to the Bandra Worli Scenic. Right. Yes. Now, it has several interchanges, so it has an interchange at Priyadarshini Park, Tara Garden, Haji Ali, Worli, etc. So these will take care of that thing. But then from Worli, if you want to have another, you want to go east, then how do you go east? So we have the Shivdi-Worli connector.
Okay.
Now, as far as the Shivdi-Worli connector is concerned, the work has started long time back. But there was an issue of resettlement and rehabilitation. There were about 19 buildings which were getting affected, and the land acquisition cost was about 5,500 crores, which was prohibitive. So now we have got a technological solution. We have just shifted the fly over a bit the other side, and thereby only two buildings will get affected. So we are expecting that by the end of the next year or maybe March the year after that, this project will also get completed. So you have this full ring, So this district of Mumbai city that has a full ring connectivity. Now you go
Amazing.
further on. So you have this Bandra sea link. From the Bandra sea link, a sea link is being constructed from Bandra to Warsaw. Now, this connectivity from Bandra to Warsaw, now this will also have several interchanges, on the way. Now, there are the two east-west connectivities which are being done. One is the Goregaon-Mulund Link Road, which is being
Okay.
executed by the BMC. And second is a Thane-Borivali Twin Tunnel, which is being executed by the MMRDA. So the
Okay.
Honorable Prime Minister very recently did the Bhumi Pujan of these two projects, and the work on these two projects have already started. So this will be additional to the JVLR, SCLR, etc. This will be another two additional connectivities that we are having. So as you go further from Warsaw, there is a road which has been planned from Warsaw to Dahisar and then from Dahisar to Bhainder. Now
Yes.
from Bhainder, we are building a connectivity connector which will come down to Fountain. From Fountain, we are building a tunnel. Fountain is a place in Mira Bhainder, and from there we are
Yes.
building a tunnel which will come to a place called Gaimok. And at Gaimok, we are building the Thane Coastal Road. So this way we are making another ring road around Thane.
Okay.
So in this way, we are trying. So now when these connectivities will be available, today the buses, now we talk about dedicated routes for buses, when we talk about, that the buses should get a priority in travel, etc. But the existing roads are already congested.
Yes.
So, there cannot be socialization of poverty. There can be only socialization of wealth. Similarly, as now we are in the poverty of space. But these connectivities will open up new corridors. And these new corridors will be able to service. So it is for then organizations like the BST and the ST department and also the transport department and all to may ensure that these new routes are being used for buses and appropriate bus services are provided to people so that people have an option to take the bus. Key reason why public transport is not very successful in India is that the comfort of travel is not to the extent. You see, again, in an aspirational country, people want comfort in their transport. And the job of the government is to enable. So this by creating this infrastructure, MMRDA will enable public transport, and the various agencies which look after public transport will then provide that public transport. Now, I forgot to mention, now as you have this, so as you come to this Shivri side, then you have the Mumbai Trans-Harbour link, which we have just launched, the Atal Setu. Now, this
Yes.
Mumbai Trans-Harbour link goes way down, it goes on straight, and it lands at Ulve.
Yes.
So it has got three exchanges that on the other side. So it has got one at Ulve, it has got one at a place called Jasai, and it has got one at a place called Chirle. Now, now then after that, we are building a connector that work has started, which will connect this Chirle to a village called Padaspe, and so you can directly enter into the Mumbai-Pune highway. So for commuters coming from Pune, they can directly now through the MTHL come to Mumbai. The time will be maybe 2 hours or even less than that. From Mumbai, or if you want to go to the Navi Mumbai International Airport, which should be operational by say March 25 or something.
Okay.
So yeah, so if give and take a few months here and there, so the MPHL will land at Ulve and a coastal road is being constructed, which will connect to this airport and then further on to the Palm Beach Road. So all these new corridors are being created. I will use this opportunity to explain to you one thing. See, there is a criticism that when you build these corridors, then you are encouraging the use of cars. And therefore, the roads are filled up in no time. Now, I would like to impress that first and foremost, you can't stop people from buying cars. They are going to buy cars. India is aspiration. People are growing. Gadi, Bangla, Gadi. Naukri, Bangla, Gadi. That is how it is. So they are going to buy cars. But for the public transport, these new corridors, then the municipal authorities can reserve a particular corridor for buses and public transport vehicles. And agencies like VST, ST Mahamandal, Navi Mumbai Transport, etc., then they can provide the bus services in these areas, and all those movements have already started. Electric buses, air-conditioned buses, etc. So therefore, an option is there, and if you have a comfortable option which is cheaper, then even if I have a car, I am not going to,
Use it.
you use the car. I'll use it only for a particular function. So this is the way we are hoping that we will be able to tackle the issue of this congestion. The second congestion is the in slums, and people really live in extremely congested environment in slums. And the government of Maharashtra in September had made an enabling provision whereby organizations like MMRDA, CITCO, BMC, etc., can enter into slum development. So we have made our foray, and we have taken up a slum at Ramabai Ambedkar Nagar at Ghatkopar. Yeah, and that is a very big slum of about, government land is something like 68,000 square meters, and private land is about 1,72,000 square meters. So it's a huge parcel of land. Some 15,500 households are, living in that area. And we have now have a joint venture agreement with SRA. And it's a very new model. The model is this, that SRA will work in areas of its expertise, and MMRDA will work at areas of its expertise. So we will not interfere in areas which we do not know about, and they will obviously not interfere in areas that they don't know about. So SRA will identify the beneficiaries, SRA will list them, SRA will distribute the checks to them, and SRA will give them the rent. We will pay for the rent, but SRA will distribute the rent to them, and because it's an authority as far as slum is concerned, and then they will take a rent, and we will give 3 years advance rent to them. Right. So once you have given 3 years advance rent to them, then the Honorable Supreme Court has ruled that you can vacate the slum, and people will willingly vacate. Once that happens, then MMRDA will construct the rehabilitation tenements first, and that entire area will be opened out, and then we will bring out the plots for sale for the private sector. So this project, this particular model, as I see it, will be such that both the agencies work in their own expertises. Number two, the entire project is bankable. So it is not a project where it's not feasible project. It's a viable project, and the banks are willing to lend for this particular project. So that is the second thing. Third is the government sticks into the area where the government understands better, that is rehabilitation. But the government doesn't build the saleable component. The government makes that saleable component available through a transparent bidding process to the private sector. Yes. And the private sector is going to construct whatever they feel the market wants. So we do not want to crowd out private sector investment. That is because when government spends so much, then where should the government spend? So we are not going to construct. That will be done by the private sector, and we will not crowd out the investment of the private sector. So this is one model, and now it is moving ahead. Hopefully we will be able to distribute the checks and vacate the land very soon. And if that, as and when that happens, then I think this will be a new model for slum development. Because till now it was the private sector which was expected to do the rehabilitation, the sellable component and all, and so it has been moving at a very slow pace. So MMRDA expects that if this project succeeds, then all agencies can join together. Government can ask government, I think, already has asked all agencies to work on this, and then maybe we will see a change. But I'll tell you what, for those who have been around, the transformation that Mumbai is attempting at any given point of time, it beats even that of Beijing. Because Beijing took 25 years. And Mumbai in the last 10 years, for instance, has witnessed a very, very significant transformation. So that is one thing as every Mumbaiker should understand. And on behalf of MMRDA, I would like to thank the Mumbaiker for helping us in getting all these things done, tolerating our barricades on the roads. That's one part. And I think as a Mumbaiker myself, I feel proud that such a big initiative is being undertaken by the city.
Okay. So what are some of the key projects that you are focused right now?
So among the key projects that we are focused is, I would say, the most important and our flagship project is the Mumbai Metro.
Okay.
Earlier, we were focused on the MTHL. We wanted to commission the MTHL. The MTHL is now commissioned. The next focus now is the Mumbai Metro, which I spoke about. The third focus is the slum rehabilitation project of Ramabai Ambedkar thing. The fourth focus is mega infrastructure projects like the
Sure.
Thane Borivali Tunnel, the Orange Gate Tunnel, the Ring Road project that I spoke to you about. So that is the fourth focus. The fifth focus is that now MMRDA is a planning authority for such a huge area. So we have to prepare the development plan of these areas, and we have to prepare the, we have to prepare the execution plan. And most importantly, we have to prepare a financial plan for this. Because I can dream and I can plan. Unless I manage to get the money, and unless the money pays for itself, then it will not make much sense. So, so that is where the real focus is in the coming days.
Okay. How does MMRDA ensure sustainable and eco-friendly development in the city?
Oh, sustainability is fundamental. It is our core goal, and I think it's very dear to my heart. And every project that we are doing, the project, see, so for sustainable development now in India, the rules are very well set. So there's a full series of clearances and permissions that you need to take, and also there's a full system of oversight that you're having. Right. For instance, if you cut one tree, then you plant three trees. Sometimes, if you cut one mangrove, you plant three mangroves. For instance, when I was MD of Sitco, I transferred about 4,000 hectares of mangrove lands to the forest department. That's a part of a sustainable initiative, And so here, like for instance, in all our projects are moving towards net zero. All of them, right? All our projects will, like our metro project. That metro project is all the stations are platinum certified.
Okay.
All of them, the IGVC norms, and all of them, in fact, the carbon footprint and all of them is huge. I'll just check. I have the exact figures to give you. So I don't have the exact figures, but that's in thousands of tons of carbon that will be saved as a part of it. Then we have, for instance, incorporated the use of solar energy. So we promote that. Then we are in a big, now we have also entered into the field of solid waste management and recycle and reuse, So that is something that goes a long way into sustainability. And we are supporting BMC looks after itself. It has the competence and the capability to look after itself. But smaller corporations like the Kalyan Dombivli Municipal Corporation, Ambernath, Badlapur, Mira Bhainder, etc. So we are, helping them to do this. For sustainable development, we have roped in the German development bank called as a KfW. And MMRDA and KfW has signed an agreement whereby KfW will be funding these projects. And one project we have already started under the KfW funding. So sustainability is very key. And I think everybody has to realize that if growth is not sustainable, then what's the point of that growth?
True. Okay. So what are the long-term plans of MMRDA?
The long-term plans of MMRDA is to, as we say, reboot Mumbai, reshape MMR, and Mumbai in minutes. These are our three, I say, absolute. When I say reboot Mumbai, Mumbai is already developed. So Mumbai's development has to be, has to be appropriate. It has to be upgraded, right? So that is one. And second is MMRDA is looking after the metropolitan area outside Mumbai. So that it needs to be shaped appropriately. So that shaping is something that we are into it, and that's a long-term goal that we have. That is third. And third, and the most important thing I would say is, person of Mumbai doesn't like spending hours in travel. So we want to have Mumbai in minutes. That I start at point A and I end at point B within the city. And aim is that should be in minutes. And the classic example, the latest one which we delivered, was the Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link. So to travel that whole distance, it would take 1 hour 45 minutes without traffic. And now, well, it takes something like, we had said it is 22 minutes, but it takes about 15 minutes. So that is the saving in time that we have been able to make.
Okay. What role does community involvement play in urban development, according to you?
According to me, it is absolutely crucial to have community involvement. And urban development, community involvement is inbuilt. So Like for instance, the principal agency for urban development actually is not the metropolitan authorities. It is the urban local bodies. And the urban local bodies have a system of elections, and they have a system of, say, ward committees, and they have the ALM committees, and they have several such committees at various levels, where people can be involved. So that is one. Then for agencies like us, so when we do a project, so we have an environmental clearance. For environmental clearance, we have a public hearing, right? And in that public hearing, the community has a chance to participate. When we prepare a plan, then we do three things. Firstly, we declare our intent to make a plan, whereby we tell everybody that we are going to make a plan. Secondly, after we make that plan, we publish a draft plan. We had to call everyone to give his objections to that. Thirdly, after that has come, we appoint a planning committee and we call these people for a hearing. कि आप बताओ कि आपका क्या है, explain it to us. And then the planning committee makes it. And the decision is finally taken by a body which is an elected body. So all of them are there. This mechanism is there in urban development. I think the issue is very different. The issue is that these opportunities are available, but are we availing it? Or are they being availed by only certain people to drive ahead a certain agenda? I think that is the key thing the country is today facing, or I think everywhere you're facing, because the silent majority, which is perhaps in favor of that particular thing, doesn't come in favor of the project or the development. And the vocal minority, which opposes a particular project, they come forward. So, if this opportunity for community, when you call for objections, you're also calling for suggestions, right? So that means positive and negative, both are to be said, but somehow it has become that only the negative thing comes out. So I don't like a particular thing, तो मैं तब आता हूँ कि भाई मेरा ये कारण से objection है. But I like a particular thing. I don't come forward writing ki. So I'll tell you, I had a very good experience in my life when the Mumbai Coastal Road project was to be done. I was an additional municipal commissioner at the BMC that time. So we took a decision that there was a committee appointed by the government, and there people were hammer and tongs against it. So we took a decision that let us ask the people, कि ये DPR है, this is the full plan. Now you tell us कि इसमें तुम्हारा क्या, what are the suggestions, what are the objections, आप बताओ, right? And at that time, in the initial days, 1,500 or something, I don't remember the figure. So letters came appreciating the project. So one of the newspapers carried an article कि लोग तो appreciate कर रहे हैं. Next day, a bunch of objections came. But I'll tell you, because of this system of community involvement, we were able to amend the DPR. For instance, there was a tunnel from NCPA directly to Priyadarshini Park, which would have served no purpose at this point of time. Now we changed that and we got it to Priyadarshini, head of Princess Street flyover, right? And so the opposition died down. The government of the day at that point of time abandoned the northern part of the project and decided to do a ceiling there. So I think there's a huge role of community participation. But the participation has to be by everybody, and the participation has to be both ways.
Okay. So my last question to you, okay, as the Commissioner of MMRDA, what would be your message to the people of the biggest metropolitan city in India?
Well, my message to the people of the biggest metropolitan city of India, and I think one of the largest metropolitan areas of the world, and definitely the largest metropolitan area of India, is that we are all trying hard to make our services world class, but as per our requirement.
Sure.
Indian requirements, but world class. That is what we are trying. And I would like to thank them for the support in this endeavor over the last several years. And I will exhort upon them to extend the same, support that they have given us in the past. Let's be positive and let's try hard to make a better India.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Mukherjee. It was an absolute pleasure to have you and have this chat with you. Thank you so much. Lovely
Thank you
talking
so
to
much.
you.